What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be talking about Heretic. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and because I talk about anything movie, TV show, or video game related, or just anything nerdy, you have come to the right place. And like I said, today we're talking about Heretic. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, this was a movie that I was actually genuinely pretty excited for. Hugh Grant is someone that's been kind of feeling like he's resurfacing a lot more, getting into a lot more roles. And this overall felt like a very interesting concept. The trailer definitely captured me off the first time I watched it. So I was very excited to come watch this movie here tonight. But without taking any much more of your time, let's go ahead and get straight into my pros. And starting with my pros, I want to go off and just say, Hugh Grant, what an amazing performance. I think just straight from the trailer, you can already tell that he is going to excel within this performance. Definitely be someone that's very charismatic, but also very creepy. And he definitely delivers on that end. Like I said, he's very charismatic. You definitely want to continue listening to him. He has such a great voice, the way he kind of projects himself, the way he acts, the way he moves and manipulates certain things. It is a very, very interesting role to see him in, something I don't think he's ever kind of done or dabbled in that often, or if ever. And it was very, very entertaining to watch him, even though him being very creepy and unsettling and definitely putting you at the edge of your seat. There's just something about the way he speaks in his performance and just the way he kind of talks that makes you want to continue to listen, makes you want to continue to watch what he's doing. What is he trying to prove? What is he trying to say? What are the ideas he's trying to kind of bring forward here? So it was a very interesting and very fun role to see him in. So his performance for me was top notch. And I think the performances of the other two girls were done very well as well. Definitely not to the level of Hugh Grant, but they were definitely a good addition to whatever Hugh Grant was trying to do. They definitely felt like they were stuck in the situation, very scared and nervous. And even the way everything was kind of shot, it kind of felt more erratic, so that you can definitely feel that stress that they're feeling as well, being in this situation. So it was definitely, performances across the board were definitely done very, very well. So you cannot knock it on that at all. And then something else that I don't think you can knock on it as well is I think the directing was done very well. It was very well paced, not that long of a movie, a little bit less than 2 hours. I think it was shot very uniquely. A lot of great shot choices, a lot of great camera movements with panning around as they're talking or going overhead or seeing these really high top view shots and everything like that. I think visually, this movie did a very good job of trying to portray what it was kind of going on screen. The way the plot was moving definitely felt the way the camera work was going, the way the directing was going, the way the music and the color palette and the shot choices all felt very in unison to what was actually happening on screen and what was actually happening in the plot. And I overall enjoyed the concept of what was kind of going on here, of Hugh Grant's character trying to kind of belittle certain religions and trying to talk about belief versus disbelief and what he thinks is the overall true religion. That's the whole kind of concept of the story, of him trying to prove something to these girls that are going door to door, trying to bring people into their religion, into their church. So I think it was a very unique concept and a very interesting concept to kind of follow. This is definitely not something that will work for everybody. This is there if you're definitely very devout in terms of religion, you might sway one way or another when it comes to the topic of this movie. This could offend some people, this could not offend some people, but overall, I personally enjoyed the topic. There are probably certain things that could have been executed a little bit better, which we can talk about in the cons, but overall, the concept of the actual film, what it was trying to do, I genuinely enjoyed. And this being kind of more of a suspenseful thriller movie, there was definitely, of course, some horror elements into it that I actually enjoyed it and kind of definitely kept you at the edge of your seat. You felt very nervous. You were intrigued about what was going to happen next, and it definitely had some very creepy horror moments that definitely kept the movie feeling very suspenseful, very thrilling, and again putting you at the edge of your seat. And you can definitely tell that the filmmakers here and even the actors definitely delve in a lot into the research that had to go into this movie. They definitely had to learn a lot of different things, kind of research a bunch of different religions and things like that to sound correct as they're speaking amongst all these different religions across the world. So I definitely enjoy that this movie definitely feels like there was a lot of work put into it, not just on screen, but off screen in terms of research and searching and trying to find all these different ideas to try to tie it in together to what this movie was trying to explore and the ideas that it was trying to explore. And lastly, I do enjoy the way this movie kind of wraps up. Again, it's not going to work for everybody. It definitely worked for me. I thought it was a good little wrap up, and it definitely kind of tied the entire theme all the way to the end, and it definitely left me personally with a good note, and I enjoyed the way this movie kind of ended. To me, it didn't feel rushed. It definitely felt like it was paced perfectly well. And by the time we get to the ending, it all felt like a cohesive story that wrapped up together. And the whole ideas that this movie was trying to explore, by the end of it, felt satisfying. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my cons. And one con for me, I think, is that the idea, again, that they're trying to explore definitely got nailed into the ground over and over and over again. I understood what the concept that Hugh Grant's character was trying to explore and try to prove something to these two young girls, but it was something that kind of continued to go on and on and on, and he had these kind of metaphors on top of metaphors on top of metaphors on top of metaphors. And well, it definitely was entertaining to watch Hugh Grant just spew all these different facts and ideas and try to tie religion into board games and music and all this different types of stuff. At a certain point, it felt like it was going a little too far, and it was trying to hit this specific idea of disbelief in religion very, very heavy, which could offset a lot of people when watching this movie. For me, it kind of just went over that line a little bit, where it did feel a little too much at a certain point, but overall is still, for me, wrapped up very nicely. But that could be definitely something that may turn off a lot of people watching this movie. And I do think that the second half of this movie definitely slowed down a little bit. It definitely got a little bit more into kind of more tense moments and horror-filled moments. But the beginning of this movie, when you just have Hugh Grant and these two girls just talking about ideas and the tension rising, that one for me was definitely the more entertaining portion of the movie. Once you get into the second half, where they get kind of put into these two doors, which you'll see in the trailer, between belief and disbelief. For me, it definitely felt like there was another idea that could have been done a lot better, instead of putting them in the situation that they're in. I don't want to go too much into detail. I want, of course, you guys to see the movie first, but I wish there was a little bit more going on beyond those two doors than what we actually got in the movie, where it felt like it did kind of slow it down in terms of the intensity versus when they were upstairs and just talking back and forth amongst each other. And lastly, I do wish they kind of leaned a little bit more into the fantastical kind of ideas that they're trying to explore, and trying to kind of going a little bit more into actual holy stuff happening. This definitely felt more of a grounded movie. I wish there was a little bit more kind of divine things happening on screen, where it definitely felt like the ideas that they're trying to explore hit a little bit harder. And that's kind of one thing where it definitely felt more grounded than I was hoping for. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I definitely would recommend this to certain people, not everybody. Like I said, this is something that could be a very divisive movie, a very kind of heated topic when it comes to this film, especially when it comes to religion. But I still had a great time with it. I was very excited for this movie, and for me, it definitely delivered. It's one of the better movies I've seen this year for sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear everything you guys thought about this film. But again, if you guys like talking about anything movie, TV show, or video game related, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.